Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to our weekly broadcast. I am Athena Moberg, and this is my amazing partner, Bobby Parrish, and this is your trauma recovery broadcast. And also, formerly known as No More Shame Project, which we are still going to be talking about and giving you some updates on because we have a facelift on our website coming, and it is very, 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 very exciting. But first of all, I just want to go through our housekeeping items, and I want to welcome everyone to our broadcast this week. If you are viewing us on Roku, we are so excited about you because you're one of the newest developments of our project that we're working on, and it's so exciting for us to have our own Roku channel, Trauma Recovery University. And if you are listening and you cannot see me talking with my hands, Bobby and I talk a lot with our hands, you can find us on our YouTube channel or on our Roku channel, No More Shame Project or Trauma Recovery University. But I want to very, very, very specially welcome anyone who's listening on iTunes or Stitcher or iHeartRadio or Spreaker or SoundCloud. And really, we are just so excited that you have chosen to listen to us for this 60-minute broadcast. And I also, as always, want to do a shout out to our people that are in the UK. You guys are incredibly amazing. It's 2 in the morning, and we get tweets and messages from you that you've tuned in live or watched the rebroadcast. And so we are so grateful for you. We're grateful for our sex abuse chat family and our CSAQT family. And if this is your very first time tuning in, I just want to welcome you and let you know that you're not alone in your trauma recovery. And with that being said, I am going to turn it over to my incredible partner, Bobby Parrish, and she's going to tell you about something very exciting and different that we are going to be doing tonight. Take it away, Bobby.
Thank you, Athena. We really wanted to take some time. I know that we have been sharing so much education with you because we believe so strongly that an essential part of trauma recovery is in being empowered through education. Athena and I are both survivors, and we didn't get a lot of that. And so we know that it's so important for you to get that, for you to know, what does trauma recovery look like? Why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way? What can I expect? What's going to happen next? And that's why we share what we do with you every Wednesday night. That's why we have the downloadable one-sheets that are on the website. If you go to www.nomoreshameproject.com, or you go to www.traumarecoveryuniversity.com, you'll see a tab that says downloadables. Click on that, and it will have, oh, gosh, I think we must have about 15 of them now, and they're all just one page of information about the topic that we shared during our Google Hangouts or during our chat. And our goal with those is to give you one page of quick, actionable strategies and tips that you can put into place right now to feel better and to make your recovery better and to get to that wonderful place that you want to be. But we thought that tonight, instead, we would share with you some stories, some information about our own journeys, our own road to recovery, so to speak, and hopefully inspire you to know that even though you have come from this awful spot of being sexually assaulted or being in a domestic violence relationship or being in war or witnessing a horrible tragedy or natural disaster, that you can get from that horrible place to a good place. Athena and I are not going to tell you that we have done everything we need to do to recover. We're not going to tell you that we have our act together permanently and forever. We are still a work in progress. But we have come to a place in our lives where we're happy and we're able to use what we went through to reach out to other survivors and help them feel better and help them make their journey and their recovery. So tonight we're just going to talk about where we've been and how we got from there to here, so that, one, you know us better and you know our stories are real and you know what's going on in our heads, and two, so that you know that you can go to that place too. So Athena, tell us a little bit about what with your childhood what you were told you were going to turn out to be?
Okay, that is a hard one for me. I don't have a lot of memories about what I was told that I was going to turn out like. I don't, I always I felt very trapped. In retrospect, looking back, I think I felt very like I was going to die there. I didn't really.
Tell me,
I
tell
know
me
I
why.
know that sounds crazy. But I felt like, okay, so I felt very trapped. I felt like I was gonna die in the place that I was at. I felt like the domestic violence situation that my family was in, and the police activity, and the abuse, and the blood, and the weapons, and the violence, and just the smell, and just all of it. The drugs and the alcohol and the pornography and the bullying and just the berating and it was just trauma. It was a lot of trauma.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
trauma. I felt like that was sort of my lot in life a little bit, and I would dare to sort of dream and um, try to escape, but I would always be forced to come back. I used to like fantasize about trying to like run away, and every time I would get away just for a little while, I was always forced to come back. And I remember, it sounds so traumatic, like I've been minimized so much my entire life that when I talk about situations like this, my my default is to go,
right,
it wasn't really that bad because so many
right,
more people had it so much worse than me.
right.
I mean, I survived, right? You know, but in all actuality, there was some torture that happened. There was a lot of mind games, um, just manipulation, exploitation. It was really, really, really scary. So I don't remember ever really being sort of told like what I would turn out like or anything like that. All I knew is that I had convinced myself that if I did more and if I did better, that hopefully it would get better. And then it never did, and it never did, and it never did. And I was an overachiever, and I had all these different choir classes I would take, and band, and extracurricular, and swimming, and I did as many things as I could possibly do to try to um, get away from that situation and try to be good at something, to
Right,
where
right.
I'd be around like normal people. But it was very, very difficult. And I remember I got the opportunity to travel internationally and compete internationally with my middle school orchestra, and I was
Okay.
so excited to do that. And then at the last minute, we were doing these fundraisers, and I just remember that I was told by my family that I wasn't allowed to go. Who did I think I was? And I was like, but you said I could go. Like, what do you mean? I've been fundraising for a year. I was so freaked out, and I ended up literally like tricking them or something, like going and like I was like, I'm going no matter what you say, that type of thing. Like, and just I remember dreading the whole time I was on the planes and the buses and staying at these people's houses and stuff. It was like so scary. And I guess I don't really know what I was told that I was going to be like. All I knew is that no one came to my swim meets except for my dad. My dad would drive like 40 miles to come try to find me and like cheer me on. But my parents lived one block away or across the street from the schools that are like down the road from the schools I attended. And um, they never came and cheered me on or told me that I was doing good or anything like that. And I just remember always kind of looking and wondering if they were going to show up and hoping that they were going to change, and it just never changed. And the abuse and the treatment that I got just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I talk in our anthology that we just published called Discovering True. I talk a little bit about how I got an opportunity to go to college, and then I got tricked out of that by my family, and they stole my car and sold it for drug money or something. And then it sounds like seriously like a weird movie, but that was my life, and I'm not even joking. Like, I just want you to know that truth is stranger than fiction, okay? So you just got to know that. So I guess I don't really have a short answer other than I never thought I would really get out alive at
Yeah.
all. So I don't really remember dreaming or thinking like I would really do something with my life. Like it was for me to sit here in this. I live in a $1 million house. Like we got an appraisal because we were going to try to refi. I live in a mansion. I mean, like I know that sounds very ostentatious and very, trite and whatever. But I mean, I live in a really ridiculous, beautiful place. Like you guys can't really see, can you? Like
I can
there's
see a palm
ocean.
tree over in the corner there. I see the ocean now when you
Like
turn off your lights.
yeah. So like I look at the ocean and I have a husband who's amazing, and he tells me he loves me, and he hugs me, and he's sweet, and he brings me water and props my feet up, and just is so kind. And like, I never dreamed anything like this would ever happen to me in my entire life. And so, yeah, I'm so stoked and excited to spend every single day of my life reaching out to other people that have gone through crazy, horrific, horrible, horrible, horrible abusive situations to let them know, like, when you're completely stripped of every ounce of your self-respect and your life skills, and you don't even know, you're completely socially inept, you don't even know how to feel unawkward in a situation at the grocery store, I'm just here to tell you that it gets better. And if you do the hard work, it's very, 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 very hard. Very hard work. Hard work. If you do that hard work, you have a chance, and there's hope, and it gets better, and it gets good, and you start making different relationship choices, and you make different choices on who you hang out with, who your friends are. You make different business decisions, different job choices. You spend your money differently. Everything's different. It's just awesome, and it comes with boundaries. Boundaries is kind of like the beginning of the whole thing. That and learning which people are safe and which people are not safe, because we were never taught what that was, and to trust ourselves. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't really ever remember thinking that I had any potential to do anything special, Bobby. To be quite honest, I didn't think I had any potential to do anything special. That's
Right.
the quick answer.
That's what it sounds like to me. If I could summarize listening to you, what I think the message you were taught about yourself as a child is that A, you're not worth their time and effort. Okay? You're not worth their going half a block down the street to see you at a swim meet, to cheer you on. You're not worth their keeping a clean home, providing you with food. For heaven's sakes, not beating on each other and having the police presence every other day. And furthermore, you're never going to be worth more. You are useless. Athena, we don't support you in anything because, frankly, we don't think you're ever going to turn out to be anything.
I was told that I was lucky I had a roof over my head and that I should be grateful.
Exactly. Yes.
So in my yearbook, the little part, Bobby, where you get to write like a little caption of like how people can remember you, or you can like say
Right.
thank you to your teachers and stuff.
Right.
I thanked my parents for the roof. I said, thanks for the roof. That was my little, I'll show you, thanks for the roof. Like, that was me being nasty.
That was you with a little bit of moxie there, girl.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
I was like, thanks for the roof. I'll show you, thanks for the roof. Yeah,
But
so that was me.
the other part that I heard, though, was you saying that you didn't think that you were worth being loved, and so you did everything you could to prove that you were worth being loved, and that I'm guessing from all the times that we have talked and all the Google Hangouts we've done, that's part of what set you up on that perfectionistic road.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And like you and I are huge Brene Brown fans, and Brene Brown always says, where perfection is, shame is lurking.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah, lots of shame, lots of perfectionism. I shamed myself a lot. I still do. I try not to, but it's not something you can try not to do. If you try not to shame yourself because you're shaming yourself, then you're ashamed that you're shaming yourself, and it's like this weird self-perpetuating, like, just weirdness. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you got to just practice. Like, oh, good, I shamed myself less today. Win. It's a win.
Exactly.
What about you, Tell me what you thought you were going to become. I mean, did you feel like you had this great potential? Did you, like, I know that you and I grew up in very similar situations with our sexual abuse and just the sexual assault and the the minimizing and just the food situation where there wasn't always
Yeah.
food that was good and all that. But I'd love to hear you share your inspirational story with everyone about where you thought you would be, the potential you thought you had.
Well, it's interesting because the expectation placed upon me was always that I would be perfect. And if I was anything less than perfect, it wasn't good enough. But of course, you can't be perfect, and so I was never good enough. I would never amount to much of anything. I tried. I mean, heaven's sakes, I tried so hard, and went to the Catholic schools, did the Catholic school thing, did my best. Ended up hating it and switching over to the public school system when I was in high school, and I got straight A's, and I got valedictorian of my class, and I got voted most likely to succeed. But I felt like any minute I was going to screw it up. It couldn't last. It would never last, because even though other people saw me as good sometimes, underneath everything was this horrible, black, awful core being of my person, and that I wasn't good and I was never going to be good enough. And so I went to college, struggled a little bit in college, and then I married the man that everyone told me I should marry, right? Successful, on the road, nice, clean-cut guy. I listened to what people had told me that the right man was to marry. And so I married him, found one, married him. And unfortunately, it turned out that he wasn't really the right man, because fidelity was not his strong point.
Gee, that's kind of a problem when fidelity is not someone's strong suit and you're married.
Yeah, and that was the beginning of a huge tumble for me, because I was 27 years old and I was divorced. Our deal was he would go to law school and I would support him, and then I would get to go back and get my master's degree in counseling while he worked. So I had put him through law school, we divorced, and I was stuck in this awful job and depressed and humiliated. I certainly wasn't most likely to succeed. Here I was, 27 years old and divorced, and the world just fell out from underneath me. I ended up in severe depression. I ended up in and out of psychiatric wards, being treated horribly, and it was just, and shame. Layers and layers and layers and layers of shame, because not only wasn't I not perfect, but I wasn't even functioning, and I felt worthless. And it was that self-reinforcing thing that we go through as survivors. Okay, I was told as a child that I was worthless. I feel worthless because of what happened to me. I'm trying so hard to prove that I'm not worthless, and the harder I try, actually the harder it gets. And so then eventually things fall all to junk, and ta-da, it's been proven. Everyone was right. I was right. I'm awful, and nothing good is ever, 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 ever going to come of me. I'm going to end up, depressed, housed in some psychiatric ward for the rest of my life. And it was,
What would you say, Bobby, if there was a valedictorian listening right now who on the outside everything looks perfect, but on the inside they feel just like you? What would you say to this young valedictorian girl? Maybe she's 17 or 18 years old and she just found out she's going to be the valedictorian. What would you say to her if she feels just like you felt because she went through all what you went through?
yeah, I would say get help. Reach out to someone safe. Get some help with that feeling that you have inside you that you are worth nothing. And not only is it that you feel like you're worth nothing, you feel like you're bad. I mean, bad to the core, that what happened to you in some weird way you deserved. find someone. Find someone safe, whether it's someone at your church, someone at your school, the college that you're going to go to. I am 99% certain that they're going to have a counseling department. Talk to someone. It's a good time to tackle this stuff now before the cycle gets self-reinforcing. I really do think that if I had gotten help earlier, and I had gotten good help, and unfortunately there wasn't a lot of good help around, that the cycle wouldn't have eaten me alive like it did. You know, Athena?
Yeah, I
I,
do.
I think both of us, if we had, I know both of us, I've been married twice now, twice divorced. Um,
Me
you know,
too.
raising my son as a single mom.
Me too.
Um, I I honestly believe that if I had gotten appropriate, good help when I was younger, maybe not when I was living under my parents' roof, because I don't think that would have happened, but when I got into college and I started to struggle a little bit, I honestly believe that if I'd gotten good help then, I maybe wouldn't have had to have gone through the hard things that I did. And of course, I can't be certain, but I think at the outset, if someone could have taught me that I was worth something, maybe I wouldn't have made two bad marriage choices. Maybe I wouldn't have my depression wouldn't have gone to the point where my only option was to try and kill myself. And that's why we do what we do and why we're here with you, because we want you to know that you can get help, and darn it, you can get good help. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of good trauma recovery help out there, but you can get help, and you can get good help that truly, really helps you with those core issues of shame and guilt and self-loathing. I think I could have short-circuited some of that, Athena.
Do you think you could have circumvented the process of perhaps how our recovery has been delayed and our self-worth rebuilding has taken so long? Because I mean, I do feel like I've turned the corner now. I do feel like I have hope and I have a future and that I've made some good choices. And like we always talk about, my good pile is getting bigger and bigger while my
Right,
bad pile is looking smaller and smaller, like, the
right.
ratio. Do you feel like perhaps you could have circumvented the process and built up your good pile quicker? Or what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think I could have, because I wouldn't have had so many things adding to my bad pile. I'm 48 years old. I'll be 49 in February. And it's only been in the last couple of years that I really feel like I've gotten my feet underneath me. I look at my peers. My peers, Athena, at this age, they're all, CFOs, managers, supervisors. They've got 22 years of good career behind them. I don't have that. I don't have a stable relationship. I don't have 25 years of marriage anniversary to celebrate.
I got to cut you off, girl. I got to cut you off right now because you're adding to the bad pile, and I just want to point something out. We are in a class together, you and I got to say that there was a post today from one of the people in the class, and it talked about how he used to be very discouraged by what people were saying, like go get a real job and get a good job and get some stability and go to college and this and that. That's where it's at. And he would try to explain to everybody, well, no, but I love to write. I want to publish books, and I think I can really do this. And they'd be like, get a real job, and like, whatever, however they talk.
Right.
And he said today, he goes, you know what? I am happy to say that today, when I had some of those naysayers saying those things to me, I didn't even care anymore. And it wasn't too long ago that he did care. And so
Right.
I'm just saying to you right now, I was 26 and divorced twice. And I was a two-time loser, and I was so down on myself. And the worst part of it was that my son said, Mom, I think I knew that he wasn't very good for you, and I was afraid to say something because I didn't think you would believe me. I was
Oh,
like, oh, pumpkin. Oh, no, 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 no. You got to promise me, promise me, promise me, promise me. And then I had another family member say the same thing. I kind of knew that the second one was, I just kind of knew, but I didn't think you'd listen. And I was like, oh, we got to just all make pinky promises right now. Like, if I get into another relationship ever in my life, you all need to just have my back and tell me, hey, hello, what about this, 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 and this? Like,
right,
you remember that time you told us that we needed to tell
right,
you?
right, right.
We're telling you. And so, yeah, I was so down on myself being, I mean, you and I talked about this previously, and I think I mentioned it either in a previous broadcast or it might have just been on a different podcast. But by the time my 10th high school reunion came around, I was divorced twice, bankrupt, and I was a single mom, and I felt like a complete loser. But I was dressed up pretty to the nines in an eggplant purple velvet floor-length dress, and I looked awesome. I saw a picture recently. I was like, dang, I looked good. I was falling apart on the inside. I was suicidal. I was completely suicidal, dressed in that velvet gown down to the floor.
Yeah.
But I sure looked good.
I'm impressed
My
that you
hair was,
went. I haven't gone to any of mine.
well, my hair was just so, and I got to go shopping in one of those fancy foo-foo boutiques and get a fancy dress, and it was just a way that I covered it all up. I mean, and then by the time my 20-year high school reunion came around, I had been rebuilding. I had a lot of rebuilding to do, and I'm married to a wonderful man, and my son is almost out of the Marine Corps now, and he's married to an amazing woman, and I don't have grandbabies yet, but by the time my 25th wedding anniversary, my 25th high school reunion comes around, I think I'm going to attend that one because I know that our business is just beginning. I mean, it just got started in 2014, but it's already we're making a mark on this world. We're making a difference. We're touching people's lives in a way that will never ever 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 be undone. Like the difference and the mark that we're making on people's lives and their recovery is so significant that my grandchildren could be watching this broadcast right now, like in the future, and I wouldn't even know it because we are Googleable and we're on YouTube and we have a Roku channel and we have books and resource guides and websites and things, and we're doing things in the world. And you know what? I'm so excited, Bobby. I never thought I had an ounce of potential for anything, and you know what? I did, and I just didn't know it was hiding under all of my shame.
Right.
All my potential was hiding underneath all of my shame, and I cannot wait to tell more people about it. That's all I have to say. And you, woman, your CFO colleague, people that you went to college with and all that or whatever's, you know, I just want to just say that if it wasn't for you cheering me on and being my partner and going, you know what? No, we're going to make a difference. Let's do this together. If it wasn't for you doing that, we wouldn't be changing lives right now. Like, I wouldn't have the courage to do it all by myself. I've been trying to do it all by myself for 2 years, and I was like beating my head against the wall. I mean, oh my gosh, it was frustrating. So, I made a little bit of a mark, but I just think that two are better than one. I mean, it's scriptural. It's two are better than one, and I just feel like we're making a huge difference. So,
Yeah.
I want to hear about the good pile. I want to hear about the Bobby's good pile. I want to inspire people. When did you finally realize that you had potential, and lead us down the road to where you didn't think you had any potential and you realized that you did?
Okay. Well, after I finally kind of got my feet back on the ground, I went to grad school. But I was honest about my mental health struggles, which I shouldn't have been. I trusted them. I thought they were safe people. And I can remember when I was in first year in grad school and there was an awards ceremony for all the graduates, and they gave out these awards. I think there were 5 of them to the people who they thought had the most potential to make an impact on their clients' lives or on the world. And I sat there and I said, that's going to be me. I'm going to do that. I want that award in 3 years. I worked my tail off. I got straight A's. I was selected to be a TA for, I think, 6 different classes. I finished my internship, which is supposed to take 9 months. I finished it in 4 months. And not only did I not get that award, but I wasn't even invited to the awards ceremony. And it was like a punch to the gut, you know, because they didn't believe that I had any potential. I can remember one of them looking at me and saying, I would never hire you. And I believe, I mean, here was one more person, right? One more person telling me I had no more potential. And so I went into private practice, and I have never tried to work for anybody else because I was so ashamed of what they had told me. So it wasn't until I hid my mental illness, I hid behind all of that, and I pretended to be just a professional. It wasn't until it's been about 1.5 years ago now that I started writing my blog and being open and honest about my struggles with my mental health and also my child abuse. And people just flooded out of the woodwork to say, thank you for talking about this. People don't talk about this. We need people to talk about this. And they said, I've been there too. I'm there too. I struggle with mental illness. I've been abused. I've been in a domestic violence situation. I struggle. Thank you for talking about it. And it was this weird juxtaposition, you know, of, wait a minute, I thought I was supposed to hide this and not tell anyone because when I was honest about it before, they said I had no potential. But now here I'm being honest, and I'm stand up and saying, I struggle with mental illness. I still struggle with mental illness. I likely will struggle with it for the rest of my life. But I still have value. I'm not perfect, but I still have value, and I still have potential. And it's when I stood up and started saying that the tide turned. You know?
Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh, that's so inspiring.
When I owned my imperfection and didn't let someone looking at me who was supposed to be an authority figure telling me I had no potential, I didn't let that be my guiding light. How's that? My point on the compass anymore. That's when I started to really feel that wave of potential, you know, and that's when I got online, and that's when I started joining social media, and that's when I connected with Rachel Thompson, who is who we do our Twitter chat with on Tuesday nights. And now, yeah, it's huge. You know, people write to us and they say thank you, and you know, we make a difference in people's lives.
Oh, but how about the comment yesterday, Bobby? We got a comment yesterday. One of our Twitter family, she said, I never really cared or thought much about the future before. You guys have been such a good help. You've been an amazing help to me. Or it's, you know, I'd never thought about or gave much thought of the future before. You guys have made a difference.
Yeah, you know, and it's something I really want survivors to know. I know you have that huge drive to be perfect. I know it. I know what it looks like. I can describe it to you in detail, what it smells like, what it tastes like, what it feels like. I got it. But I'm here to tell you that that's not where your value lies. Your value lies in your imperfections and standing up and claiming them and saying, I'm imperfect, but I still got this. And I still have value. And I'm still good enough. Good enough to be loved, good enough to be cherished, good enough to be supported, good enough to be encouraged.
Yeah.
You don't have to get to that perfect place to be worthy. But it takes some work.
It does take work.
And we have done some work.
It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. It's not easy. And we go through different phases of our recovery. And I want to talk just a second. I know we're not teaching tonight, Bobby, but it's just on my heart right now. My heart is beating out of my chest. And so I just know that I'm supposed to share this right now because someone's watching. And I don't know who you are. I just know that God's put you on my heart. But Bobby and I are being really transparent and vulnerable right now with you, and we're sharing with you all of our imperfections and all of our story of where we came from and what our family life was like. And if you're watching right now or you're listening on a podcast and you struggle with behaviors that are not in line with your core beliefs, let's say you have some sort of addiction, let's say you're hiding your spending, let's say you are gambling and no one knows about it, you're calling um, numbers to talk to people that are not the type of people you would normally talk to, let's say you're hiding, you're doing something sneaky behind everyone's back because you know deep down that if everybody knew that that's what you were really like, that no one would love you and no one would like you and that no one would be kind to you, and you might not even have a job, and you know that you weren't worthy of a relationship or marriage or any type of anything good. I just need you to know that we've all been there. People that have survived sexual assault, sexual exploitation, sexual abuse, whether it was a one-time thing or an ongoing thing from age 3 to 11, we're here to tell you that your coping strategies, whether you think they're healthy or hidden or they're unhealthy or you're sneaking and maybe no one knows and maybe if I paint this pretty picture and do everything perfect that I'm going to get better, we just want you to know that you're not going to magically get better. You're not going to, that's not helping you. All of the things that you've been doing, all the things you've already tried, all the different counselors, all the different things, all the different strategies and coping mechanisms and checklists and all of that, that's not really where it's at. But if you really want to get better and you really want to feel like you're enough and that you're not hustling for your worth, trying to have the right job so your family will like you, so that they'll talk about you in nice ways around the Christmas table, or so you can finally have deep intimacy with your friendships, then I just want to encourage you to reach out to Bobby or myself, and we're going to put our information on the screen for you to read in a little while. And we'll also read it out loud for those of you that are driving. But I just want you to know, I know that we're not teaching today, we're just sharing inspiration, but whoever you are, I know that someone needed to hear that. I know someone needs to know that all the coping strategies and all the sneaking and the lying and the feeling crappy about yourself, hoping that it's all going to get better someday if you pick the right therapist, you know, you could go down that road and it could take a long, long, long time, and that could, you know, but when you're done trying and you really want to not hustle for your worth anymore and you want to really just circumvent the process like Bobby and I were saying, and sort of that fast track to you know, really loving yourself and making healthier choices, then we are going to be here for you. We are going to be here, and you don't have to struggle with perfectionism or coping strategies or addictions or weird behaviors or hiding or just deeply craving intimacy that you don't end up having. Just reach out to us, because we would love to be able to minister to you and to invite you into a community with other survivors. And all of that will go away, and we'll deal with the root, not the symptoms. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
You know,
sorry, Bobby, but I just know someone needed to hear that. I'm telling you, someone needed to hear it today. So,
well, you know, the thing that Athena and I talk about a lot, and what I hear you saying so much, but what I hear you saying that I want to share with people is that is what I call the trauma triad. Okay, so what's at the core of our being as a result of our trauma and our abuse is shame, guilt, and a lack of self-worth. For some people, going so far as to be self-loathing. Mine was self-loathing to the core.
Me too. That's how I ended up suicidal, because I hated who I was at the very core of my being.
Exactly. And so that's why those three things are what creates that drive to reach out to food, to solve the problems, to soothe it, to reach out and become addicted to porn, addicted to gambling, addicted to alcohol, addicted to pills, addicted to lying. All of those things are symptoms of that trauma triad that you've got to deal with. Sure, you can go get some counseling for your addiction to shopping, but until you tackle those three things, that trauma core, that trauma triad, you're going to reach out to something else that's not healthy. There's something in the psychological world where we call people a dry drunk, which means they're no longer drinking, but they still are exhibiting the same kind of unhealthy behaviors because they haven't dealt with the underlying issues. My grandfather was an alcoholic, a mean alcoholic. I mean, when he was angry, people used to hide because when he was angry and drunk, he was physically dangerous. He eventually went to AA and he got sober. So he didn't drink anymore, but now he's addicted to AA. I can't tell you how many family gatherings we sat at when we had to listen to all the AA. He was going to 6, 7, 8, 10 meetings a week. He was forever taking the phone calls. We were never his priority. His family was never, ever his priority. It was.
And we're not knocking the whole AA program.
No.
Because we love the AA program and we love their model of mentoring one another and having a sponsor and all of that. This is just specifically about Bobby's grandpa, and I can definitely identify with everything that you've said, Bobby, because I have family members that are exactly like that.
Right.
They trade one addiction for another. They trade one for another.
They trade one addiction for the other, and I love the AA model. In fact, I would love to take that AA model and apply it to trauma, where there's community and where the helpers are people who are trauma survivors themselves.
Yep.
But the point I was trying to make, and I apologize, I certainly did not mean to bash AA.
Oh no, I didn't mean it that way, Bobby. I just felt like I don't want someone to tune in right then and go, oh, they're talking about AA. Wait a second, I love AA, But no, you're awesome. You're awesome. I love everything you're saying. It's so true. I just love it. Keep going. Keep going.
No, I want people to understand that those are symptoms. And what we want to do is get you to focus on that core, the trauma triad. Because until you believe that you have some worth, until you understand that what happened wasn't your fault and you are not to blame, until you can shed some of that shame.
In community.
There it goes. That's what kills it every time. Until those things happen, you can't really work your recovery. You can't. And so that's what we want you to hear more than anything. We want you to hear that Athena and I have been to the awful places, and I wrote an article one time that talked about one of my experiences with my abuser, where he took me for a weekend up to a cabin in the woods and in the snow, and it was a weekend of just awful, awful, awful. And I said in that, I've been to hell riding on the back of the devil himself. I've been there. And if you've been there.
That article is called Winter Cabin in Hell, and you can find it at nomoreshameproject.com.
If you've been there, I promise you, you can get from hell to good place. I promise you. Because if anybody could do it, Athena and I have both been to hell. I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
If we can do it with all the handicaps and the hardships, you can do it. And I guarantee you that with the education empowerment, with the community support and encouragement, with a healing relationship that you would have with a coach or a therapist, you'll get there.
Yeah.
And that's more than anything what we want you to know tonight.
Yeah. I was just thinking as you were talking, Bobby, about the places that we have been, the places you and I have talked about that we've been.
Yeah.
Like your article, The Winter Cabin in Hell, and then there's another article that you wrote called Flyaway Girl.
Yeah.
And then there's and these are like Bobby's also written some incredible articles that are inspirational, like one that was recently posted on the Good Men Project. But these articles that we've written about the places we've been that are actually horrific and horrible aren't necessarily inspirational articles that leave you feeling warm and fuzzy, tied up with
Right.
a little bow so you can go on with your day. These are actually true stories of things that have happened, and we are living proof now that you can be to those places. Like my
Yep.
article, Bobby, remember my article that I
Yeah.
wrote called Corner House?
Right. That was on the
Oh goodness.
Flounce.
Oh goodness gracious. Boy, I think I was sick for about a week after I wrote that article because I went there. I relived it so that I could write that article in all of its reality in every single moment that I remembered, breath by breath, moment by moment. And it was very cathartic for me to write that article. It was like I almost got to like vomit up cancer or something. I know that sounds horrible. You're like, who is this girl talking about vomiting and cancer? But no, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean, right,
I
Bobby?
do.
Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I went there. I went there in that article, and you went there when you wrote Winter Cabin in Hell and when you wrote Flyaway Girl and some of the other things that you've written as well. You know, the neatest thing that I love about the work that we're doing is not only are we able to reach survivors on a way that is meaningful. Right here, we have viewers right now
Right.
that are live. I'm not sure who you are, but I know you're there live because my little stuff says that you are. And we're going to have people that are going to watch this on YouTube or on Roku or wherever. Bobby, the coolest thing ever is that we've been to those places
Yeah.
and we didn't believe we would ever, ever, ever get out. We
No.
honestly, truly thought we were going to die, and we
Right.
wished that we would have died. We wished
Yes.
ourselves dead.
Yes.
And I just feel that it's so incredible that we're able to be on the other side of it now. Not perfect, like we figured it all out and
No.
we've arrived, but we're on the other side of it now, and we're in the advocacy portion of our recovery. And we don't have to fake it anymore. We don't have to fake that we're fine. We don't have to fake that we're going, let's show up and put a smile on today. Hopefully we'll help someone. It's like guaranteed. We're going to show up. We're going to be broken. We're going to be vulnerable. We're going to be ridiculous and exhausted because we've been through a really rough PTSD day, or we just saw I'm in the middle of EMDR again for the second time. It's not fun. EMDR stinks. It's hard. It's horrific. You have to relive things and make new roads, and oh my gosh, it's horrible. But you know what? I show up anyway. I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm in all of my brokenness and ridiculousness. I'm showing up. And Bobby, same thing. She's in the middle of recovery right now. And, she still goes to see her doctor. And here you are,
Yep.
Bobby. You're here with me. And you've never let me down. And I know that I let you guys down that one time. It was only one time, and it's because I was working for someone. So I'm
You did.
so sorry. But yeah, I'm so stoked that we've been to those places, Bobby, and we've thought that we were going to die in those deep, deep pits. And we're here to share with you guys that just when you think you're sliding down the slippery slope down into the darkest pit ever, soon as you choose to reach to try to pull yourself out, someone's going to be there. It's probably going to be us.
Yeah.
Probably
If
going to be
you
us or a family member. What do you
we
think?
have multiple private, secret Facebook groups. We can get you plugged in. I promise you, those people will love on you. Survivors, when they're in community, are powerfully connected. They're powerfully courageous. They're powerfully loving and kind.
And
If you,
fiercely loyal.
yes,
Fierce.
fiercely loyal. Let me see if I can find it really quick here. I want to put up when we have our Twitter chats so that people can access them.
Yeah.
Because a Twitter chat is a good time for people to come and be part of our community without a huge amount of commitment on their part. Does that
Yeah,
make
and you can
sense?
always just watch the stream. If you want to come to a Twitter chat and you're like, what's
Yes.
this Twitter thing? And
Right.
how do you work the Twitter fangledy dangle deal? Like, it's hard. Like, you're like, you don't know how to follow along. And I've had people get so triggered because it hits their shame trigger right in the middle of their belly. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they're so ashamed that they can't follow along and go so fast and like communicate and keep up with everyone. That's totally cool. I tweeted out our Storify link last night. Storify is a neat program that just takes all your tweets for you. You don't have to do anything. All you do is go Storify, click, click, and you're done. And Storify gathers up all your tweets and puts it in a nice little thing, and they even have it in an envelope. You click the envelope and you read through what everybody wrote, and you get to see the support that everybody gives one another, and it's just amazing.
It's very amazing.
It is.
Let me screen share. It is. It's powerful. And usually Twitter chats are one of the first places that we meet people, and from there we funnel them into our Facebook groups. I'm going to
Yeah.
share this.
Facebook group.
Do you see it, Athena?
I'm going to stop talking so it'll stay on the screen, okay? Ready?
Okay.
I'm silent. It's not working. Say something.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Present to everyone. Okay, there we go. Now it's going to stay. I clicked the right button. Yay! You know what? And this is even out of date. Oh, grr, I need to redo this. We now have 2 Twitter chats. We have a daytime Twitter chat and an evening Twitter chat because we want to be available to people regardless of what your schedule is. So there's a Monday Twitter chat, and that's at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The hashtag for that one is CSAQT, Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. So that one, again, is CSAQT at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this one also fits really well for our UK audience. And so that is Monday night at 6 p.m. GMT time. So
that's for you guys in the UK.
Yep.
Monday night.
And then for geared more towards our U.S. audience, or at least our U.S. Canadian audience, is our Tuesday evening chat. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's also 2 a.m. in the UK. So if you work days, you're up nights, or you're just a night owl, feel free to join us for this one.
We have someone in Costa Rica now too, Bobby. We're in
Really?
Costa Rica. We do. We're global.
We're getting there, by golly. We're going to reach every survivor. The hashtag for that is Sex Abuse Chat, and we have a different topic every week, and we tweet out that topic ahead of time. We usually announce what the topic is at the end of one chat for the next week's chat. So come join us. All you have to do is go to Twitter, up in the little search box, type in hashtag Sex Abuse Chat and hit enter, and then you will be able to watch the stream as it flows by. If you want to participate, we really encourage you to use one of the platforms that facilitates a chat. Like, I know that Athena's favorite is TweetDeck, right?
I love TweetDeck. It never does me wrong. I love it. But there's also Twubs, TWUBS.com. There's also TweetChat, TWEETCHAT.com. And then there's another one. I'm missing one.
Oh, I only know of those 3.
Oh, there's one more, and I can't think.
Rachel
uses it, and she loves it.
Okay.
I can't think of which one it is now.
But there's multiple. And the good thing about using those is you get into them, you put the hashtag in, and it brings it up. And when you type a tweet from one of those sites, it automatically adds the hashtag, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Bobby and I, we're gonna wrap up tonight, and we want to really just take a moment to just tell you how much we appreciate you. You guys are the reason that we do everything that we do.
That's right.
And if it wasn't for you survivors out there, Bobby and I never would have even really met, and we never would have started our business doing trauma recovery together. I never would have really believed in myself that I could make a living doing something that I love and that I can't wait to wake up in the mornings every single day. So we just want to tell you how much we appreciate you and we love you guys. Like truly, you guys are our family. And um, when you come from a family filled with dysfunction and abuse and unkindness and violence and police activity and drugs and alcohol and pornography and just unspeakable things, meeting other people out there that have gone through something similar um, is really a lifeline. You guys are definitely a lifeline for us, and we appreciate each and every one of you. So thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys right now and turn it over to Bobby so that she can just share her heart with you. And we will catch you. Is it this coming Monday, Bobby, that we're switching our Google Hangouts to
No,
Mondays?
no. Next week,
After
the 29th.
After Christmas.
Right.
Okay.
So next week, I think we're actually Christmas Eve. I think is our Google Hangout next week. Let me look really quick. It is, right. So we'll
Bobby,
be with
we have to wear sparkles. We have to wear
We
sparkles.
will?
We have to wear, look at my little Christmas ball earrings. We got to wear some sparkles. Or maybe we could both wear red or green, or we could wear Santa hats or something. We got to do something fun.
Look. I will find something, but we will be here Christmas Eve. We're not changing none of our chats, none of our hangouts change next week. We will be here regardless. And so we'll be here, and then the 29th we switch over to Mondays. So in the meantime, if you want to connect with us, go to Twitter. I'm Truth is Hers, Athena Moberg, or Athena at athenamoberg.com, Bobby L. Parrish at gmail.com. We both have Facebook pages, and then we have the NoMoreShameProject.com website. So reach out to us. If you want to get in touch with us, we'll help get you plugged in. We'll point you to some more resources. Go to the YouTube channel, the No More Shame Project. All of our videos are up there. Go through them, read them. Not read them, good grief, watch them. I was thinking about the downloadables. And then to read things, go over to the NoMoreShameProject.com website on the little downloadables tab, and there's all of our information, all of our resources for every Google Hangout. And we are so happy that you were here. Next week, we're going to do a little bit more personal sharing, a little bit more inspiration for you. And then then we're going to switch over to Mondays, and that Monday we will talk about setting recovery plan goals for 2015.
Yeah, talking about goal setting, and which is really important for survivors. I know we talked previously, Bobby, I forget which one it was. We talked on one of our classes that setting yourself up for success for survivors is really necessary. So we're going to help you set yourself up for success for 2015. And if you're tuning in to this broadcast during the year of 2014, or even sometime before June 2015, we want you to consider planning ahead for the month of June. And we're giving you 6 months advance notice. And we're having 2 live events where Bobby and I are both going to be there. One of them is in Atlanta, Georgia, June 5th through the 7th, and the other is going to be in Raymond, Washington, and that is the last weekend in June. I believe it's the 25th through the 27th. So June 5th through the 7th, Atlanta, Georgia, 25th through the 27th in Raymond, Washington. So please, as a free gift to you for being one of our loyal listeners or subscribers or watchers or viewers or survivors, just because you're amazing and you're here, we do have the free downloadable one-page library that is yours just for being here. It's just free. There's no catch or anything. We're not going to ask you for any money. Like, you just go to NoMoreShameProject.com or TraumaRecoveryUniversity.com and click on downloadables, and you'll get access to all of our library of resources, and we appreciate you so much. Did I leave anything out, Bobby?
No, I think the only thing is to give a quick shout out to Angela.
Yes! Oh my God, girl,
tonight,
we're so proud of you.
Yes, tonight she is speaking in front of a group of other survivors and sharing her story. And then a quick shout out to Simi and Jack, who are tweeting us live here as we are
I love them.
talking.
They're so awesome. 2 of our family members that we absolutely adore. They are there for our chats on Mondays and Tuesdays, and on our live broadcasts here that you'll see on our YouTube channel. So,
so shout out to them.
We love you guys. You guys are the
Yes,
best.
we
It's
do.
because of you is why we do everything that we do. It's because of people like you. You guys are amazing
Yes.
and awesome. So,
Yes. So we'll see you next week.
yeah.
Same time, same place. Although I won't be able to say that next week. And in the meantime, feel free to drop in on our Twitter chats, watch more videos on our YouTube channel, and connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, or Google+.
Yes, and if you're thinking about me at all this weekend, send me some good thoughts or prayers or good vibes or whatever it is that you believe in. I am going to be going to a local women's shelter and sharing with them and just loving on them for several hours on Saturday. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. It's definitely something near and dear to my heart just to give them hope because they're stuck in the same situation that I was in right now in a shelter and they don't think there's any hope. So if you think of me, just say a little prayer or think some good thoughts for the weekend.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.